Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Indie Artist Music Hustle with Blind Intelligence. I'm your host, Miss Ronnie, where I always seek to give you exquisite cranial repertoire. This week, we have a very special guest. We have Miss Danica and her manager.
Oh no, we worked on the song together. I'm Zane. I'm the guitar player and songwriter, and Henry
Oh,
wasn't able to make it. He's also worked on producing the song, and but yeah, glad to
oh,
be on. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Well, we're
it's
going to
great to
start
be.
out with letting Miss Danica tell everybody a little bit about herself.
Okay, well, hi, I'm Danica. I'm 21 years old and I am a singer-songwriter from a little small town in eastern Kentucky. I know I don't sound like it. I don't sound like it at all. But I've been singing ever since I was like 6 years old, and I've been making music for the past year, roughly a year. Working with Zane and Henry on their latest song was actually my latest work out there. So that's really cool. I've loved music. It's always been a dream of mine to make music. So
Okay. Zane, tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, so I've been working on music, as long as I can remember, actually. And I went to Belmont actually specifically for music, more on the music side of business. But I was in a band in high school and college, and Henry and I were making music for the past, maybe 12 years or longer than that. Wow, time's really maybe 15 years. And so we we made a lot of songs last year, and then Henry, through a mutual connection, met Danica, and we heard her voice, and we are like, "Oh, this is amazing! This is a great fit for this new song. We have to work on it with her." And that's how we all three got connected, and we worked on the song, and yeah, here we are.
So y'all were like a COVID project.
Kind of,
kinda,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it did make it easier. Well, Henry and I, we've always worked on songs and made music together. But because of COVID, you have that time alone. You have more time to work on projects. So yeah, it did help move things along on in certain songs and certain projects. Absolutely.
Okay. So Danica, tell me, do you consider yourself a professional artist?
I don't think so yet. I'm still learning the ways around the music industry. I'm still trying to network and make connections with other artists as well as producers and managers and other lyricists such as myself. It's
Sound
something that's still
professional
really
to me?
new to me.
Sound professional to
What was
me? It
well, thank you.
because I listen to the artists, especially when I interview them, and you can tell who is actually trying to learn the actual business and who is not. And I feel like when you're trying to learn the business, then you are actually becoming the professional.
Well, it's really kind of you to say thank you.
Well, I just try to tell
Good
the
way to
truth.
put it.
So tell me, you told me that you have always loved music. So when you decided to put your vocals and record them and give it out to the world, what made you decide to make that decision?
So, you can't really see it because of the camera, but I'm actually a disabled person. I find it difficult to walk. I have a spinal cord injury that prevents me from walking normally. It's caused partial paralysis. And noticing in mainstream media that there's not a lot of representation for the disabled community kind of made me want to put myself out there and be like, hey, if I can achieve this crazy dream of becoming a vocalist and actually make it, then I can inspire other people in the disabled community, or any community rather, to go ahead and work for their dreams.
Huh? So Zane, what made you decide to get into music?
That's interesting. I feel like it's always been a part of me. I felt like it was never a decision. Like it wasn't like, I think I'm going to take this. It's just been something that's been a part of me, whether I liked it or not, I guess. It's just, I'm going to,
Explain.
what's that?
Explain.
Well, I mean,
Explain.
okay. I mean, I started, I had a guitar when I was 10 years old. and I'd write and listen to tunes, as soon as I could, as soon as I was basically able to, and anytime I had free time, that's what I'd be working on. So it wasn't, so I guess that's why I looked at it as not like a decision, but more of something that I've just, just like when people do any hobby, right? It's just because they love to do it. And I guess it makes you happier. That's a good way to put it. Anything
Okay.
that, yeah, okay, I like that. It makes you happier, and it kind of feeds your, it feeds your fuel to do whatever you need to do the rest of the day too. So.
Okay, so tell me, what is it about each one of you? I want both of y'all to answer, that made y'all feel like this was a successful collaboration? Because there are some collaborations from hell.
Yeah, do you want to
Um,
go first, or yeah?
yeah, if you want. So when Henry first reached out to me, I fell in love with the song immediately, and I think that's really important. If you have like that passion for a song, that even if it's not one that you've written yourself, you're more likely to portray it in a more accurate way, if that makes sense. So when Henry sent me the demo for the song, I just absolutely fell in love with it and what he was going for. And then for a while, unfortunately, I wasn't able to work on it at all because I started school back. I'm in cosmetology school outside of music. But then I just get this random call one day, and it's from Zane, and he's like, "Hey, Danica, you don't know me, but," and started talking about the song again, and I was like, you know what? They're really persistent about this, and I love the song anyway. Let's just go for it. So we did, and I think it worked out really well. There was a lot of awesome communication between all three of us. It was one of those things that even though it was impossible basically to meet up during the pandemic and everything, we were still able to come up with something amazing.
Okay, Zane.
Yeah, I think it was a good collaboration because we both had our different. I felt like we both had our own idea of the song, but it worked out to be its own unique like version that I don't think anyone really expected to hear. We initially had this I guess more what would you call it, more so on the rock side of things than alternative rock that would be contemporary, was the initial thought. And then hearing Danica's voice, like this could actually be a really great spin and actually take the song in a better direction. And so combining those two different styles, I think made it a great collaborate, a great result. So yeah.
So now I want you to tell me about the song, the name of the song, how long it took, the process. How did you feel about it from each one of y'all perspectives of being a different creator on the same project?
Zane, I'll let you go first on this one.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so a lot of our songs, they've been kind of a longer process than maybe some other bands. I'll write a song, and I won't be actually too happy with it, the first time I write it, and I want to revise it over and over again. And then I'll send that to Henry, and then we'll figure out how we're going to produce it, how we want it to sound, the changes that we need to make the chorus more hookier or more catchy, make it more commercially appealing, or lyrics to adjust to make it sense. So with this song, so once we got that piece out of the way and I wrote it, that took a few months. Then Henry and I got together. We talked about how we'd produce it, what we'd want it to sound like, and then I'd say that the timeline maybe about 6 months. Once we brought Danica in, into it, or because in February, well, I guess it was longer than that. But yeah, it was a long project. We had the songwriting first, producing of the song, and then we got together with Danica, and we had a lot of conversations around that and how we'd continue to produce it and create it. And so yeah, it wasn't a quick process at all. It wasn't like we went in the studio and the song was done in 3 or 4 weeks. It's a long project.
Yeah. The song is called Finally With Her, and it's just absolutely beautiful. It's kind of like seeing these two people have like these differences and trying to understand each other and trying to get through the tough parts of being together and whatnot. And then just once they're together, it's like pure euphoria. It's like honestly just it's such a happy feeling song, especially when you get to the end of it, because it's like everything that we've gone through is just absolutely worth it. And that is I honestly had such a fun time recording it. Whenever I recorded this, I actually was just sitting right here with this same microphone headset, everything, just recording everything. And throughout the process, Zane and Henry asked me to record videos of me doing it, record videos of me going like just doing other things outside of music, outside of my life, to try to get to know me more a little better. It was a really fun process, and yeah, it did take a while, but it was 100% worth it.
Okay.
I love that description too, Danica. That was good. Of the song? Yeah.
So who wrote the song?
So I wrote it back in February.
So the reason why I asked that is she felt so passionate about it, and you wrote it. What happened to you?
Well, the thing is, I like it when listeners, have develop their own opinion and their own story behind the song, because I try to stay away from telling people what it's about, because sometimes it means something else to someone else. It's like what does artwork mean to you? And you'll have someone say something totally different, and they're attached to the song in their own way. So But
was it personal for you?
It was a little bit personal to me. Yeah, I've had things in my life that inspired me to write that song, and when you're in a long-term relationship. My fiance is over here. So I actually wrote it. She was my main inspiration for this. I'm getting married to her next week actually. So so I actually wrote the song, and she was definitely my main inspiration for that song. And and with that last chorus, as Danica said, being in along, it's all worth it. Everyone has their own individual lives, and then when you face challenges like moving in together, because you might have your own routine, and then you combine as one, and you learn to live a more prosperous life as one. I liked your description a lot, Danica. That was good.
Okay, so y'all mentioned that COVID putting this project together COVID kind of made it easier. So tell me, with both of y'all having like your own musical background, doing your own things when COVID started, tell me, how has COVID helped you as an artist and as a creator, and how has it hindered you?
Ooh, that's a good question. Honestly, before COVID, I was not making music at all. I was focused on my cosmetology school. I was in an abusive relationship. There was just so much going on that I felt like I couldn't do anything. So after COVID hit, I found myself out of that relationship, and I found myself not really having much to do. And I was like, you know what? I could actually make something out of this out of my voice, like out of my singing and my songwriting. So whenever I first started making music, it was a freak chance that I met my friend Varial, who helps produce a lot of my music. He is absolutely incredible, and we met online after I started streaming on a platform called Twitch. He reached out to me and he was like, "Listen, I love your voice. I need you on my song." And I was like, "Okay." And it just kind of accelerated from there. So it's a lot easier, in my opinion, to make those connections during the pandemic, because like everyone was on their phone, everyone was talking online, everyone was like just trying to find something to do to pass the day, So it ended up being one of those things that I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed having the ability to network with people. But honestly, I still really dislike the fact that I'm not able to go to a studio. I would love to go to an actual studio and record vocals there instead of sitting in this echoey dorm room that I'm in. But you take what you can get.
So how's COVID hindered songwriting?
Yeah.
Is that the question?
Help and hinder.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Getting together in person definitely helps a lot, and we were able to do that. We would rent out band rooms in Seattle. The definitely playing at venues, that obviously.
You're in Seattle.
What's that? Yeah. So I was in Los Angeles for about 7 years, and then moved to Seattle last year. And,
Okay.
and yeah, and so Henry and I were both there, and so we would have to make trips, and we would meet in Santa Clara to write songs and produce, and we actually recorded. We recorded finally with her at the studio here in Seattle, and then Danica did the vocals after. So we had to produce it differently than you traditionally would. You would do everything at that one studio. But because of COVID, we had to make some adjustments, so that made things a little bit challenging in making the song.
Okay. So tell me about social media. What are y'all takes on social media in regards to your music career?
Honestly, I think it's really helped out. I kind of just threw myself out there. I started gaining my audience from Twitch, which is usually a streaming platform for gaming. But I would go on there and sing songs, and I developed so many friendships and so many people that just wanted to listen to me, and it was like really cool but really strange at the same time. So a lot of these people connect on Twitter.
How was it strange?
It was strange because it was like as the follower count started rising, I was like, oh my god, people actually want to listen to me. I've never had that before. And also TikTok. I had a TikTok just absolutely blow up. I posted one video and the account blew up. I went from like 0 followers to 15,000 in like a week, and it was absolutely crazy. And now I've got 30,000 followers on there, which is again absolutely crazy. So the fact that I've got like so many people wanting to listen to me when I've never had anything like that before, it's such like I don't know how to. I guess it's a surreal feeling. Like I'm not sure it's actually happening.
How has social media been for you?
Oh, well, I feel like I've been out of touch a little bit with social media. It's like because you have all these new things coming on. I mean, I'm 34, started getting the feel of Instagram, and then what do you know? There's this TikTok thing going, and then and that's what Henry told me. He was like, "Yeah, there's this new thing called TikTok." I'm like, "Tick what?" And then so I get on that, and I'm like, "Oh, what?" So I feel like it's so far ahead of me that it's hard to like keep track and actually understand the flow of it. And but I like it. I learned something new, on it, and it's a different way to connect. TikTok is you can connect through people way differently than you can on Instagram, and I'm actually, it's kind of cool to learn about it and expose your music through different outlets such as that. So, yeah.
Well, I thank y'all for coming. And I would like for you to give everybody the name of the single again, your social media handles, where they can find you, where they can find your music, any other upcoming projects, anything you would like to leave us with.
Yeah, definitely. So the song is called Finally With Her by Black and White TV. You can find it on Spotify. Is it on Apple Music?
It's on Apple Music, it's on Deezer, it's on Pandora, it's on, I think, any outlet or anything you can name, it's on there. So
Yeah. As for social media, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, TikTok. All of them are at Danica Die Music.
Yeah, and actually we might have a few new projects coming up. Danica just sent a song that rocked. It's pretty awesome. So yeah, we might be
Thank
working
you.
on that, and we have a few other songs that are early, on in the making. So we're looking forward to that too.
Definitely.
All right. I thank y'all. And remember, you can find her on all streaming platforms. They're going to have some new projects coming out. You always can find us on podcasts, on all podcasting platforms. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram TV, and on the blog. Bye.